familiar face, a fake confrontation with the president, a promise of easy money, and behind it all, a highly organized scam designed to strip South Africans of their savings. This is the story of FXSI, the deepfake trading scheme that used BizNews editor Alec Hogg's image, a fabricated Carte Blanche showdown with Cyril Ramaphosa, and slick online manipulation to target members of the BizNews community. And when BizNews exposed it, the response was not accountability, but lawyer letters. The story begins with an advert that appeared to show Alec Hogg in a sensational confrontation with President Cyril Ramaphosa on Carte Blanche. Except none of it happened. The video, the website, the studio confrontation, even the supposed political fallout was all fabricated.
Today, we're not talking about any of that. We're not talking about economics. We're not talking about investments. We're talking about pure fiction. Absolute garbage. Fake news of the top order. Donald Trump would be able to go crazy about this stuff. And what it is a dangerous, highly lucrative, created fiction where they are using my image and the SABC's supposed website, not the SABC's website, but they're using logos and so on, to create an impression that there's been some sensationalistic news going on. Take a look at the image on your screen, and what you see is a meticulously cloned copy of the SABC News website. The layout, the fonts, even the menu bars. They've ripped it all off to create a veneer of state broadcaster legitimacy. And then there's the headline, quote, "You are lying to millions of hard-working South Africans," unquote. How Alec Hogg exposed Cyril Ramaphosa's secrets live on Carte Blanche.
The bait was emotional. It combined politics, anger, trust, and urgency. The scammers used Alec's reputation as an independent financial journalist to make the scheme feel credible and to push victims towards a so-called trading platform.
These images, and those that follow, are entirely generated by artificial intelligence. The syndicates who are trying to part you from your money have used AI image generators to create a storyboard of nonsense. Criminals know that anger and frustration drive clicks. This is clickbaiting, and the public is not patient. It's frustrated, the economy, with the load shedding and with the political status quo and the continuous missteps that happen as natural part of being South Africa, I suppose. Now they're using that and my reputation as an independent financial journalist to be prepared to ask questions of anybody and weaponize the public's frustration to bait the hook. And where does the hook lead? Well, it leads to this page. Straight to a registration for something called Capital X. They demand a minimum deposit of 4,100 Rand to activate a supposed AI trading system that promises instant results.
But this was not just a fake advert floating around online. It worked. One BizNews community member saw the video, believed it was legitimate, clicked through, and was drawn into the FXSI machine. I spoke to the victim, whose identity and voice were protected because of the harassment and threats that they had received.
Could you tell me what happened in your own words?
I watched a video, a so-called video, of Alec Hogg having a loud confrontation with Cyril Ramaphosa, which led me to think that I should invest something myself. I deposited 4,100 in my account, and everything looked hunky-dory. And a few days later, my account started to go down. I said, well, now I don't want to do this anymore. I want my money back. And he told me that if I wanted my money back, I'd have to deposit a further 25,000 Rand immediately. I continued to watch my account as it dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. And he started ringing me. And then I realized I must have been taken for a ride. And eventually I said, I'm not continuing with this conversation. And the last thing he said to me, well, enjoy legal action against you.
The pattern is clear. A small first deposit, then an apparent online profit, and then a sudden loss, followed by pressure to deposit more money to save the account. By then, the victim had already lost 24,100 Rand. What makes these scams so dangerous is not that they are crude, but that they are convincing. The victim did what many people would do: checked the website, read the claims, saw an address, spoke to people who sounded professional. And that is exactly how boiler room scams are designed to work.
Well, it looked so legitimate. I looked up their address, and I looked up online, and there was a lot about the company, what they do, and their business address, and all. It all looked so legitimate. So I was taken in, I'm afraid. I'm quite elderly, so I suppose I should have known better, but I didn't, and I'm now no longer going to believe most things I see online these days, because I feel very bruised. I feel ashamed that I was taken for such a ride, and of course, I'm extremely angry that I've lost that money.
Was there a point where you felt it started becoming untrustworthy?
Yes, there was, when they kept on me, when he insisted that I had to put 25,000 Rand more in to get my 24,000 back, which didn't make any sense to me.
These scams are not isolated. The names change: Capital X, Bankso, FXSI. But the method is familiar. Fake endorsements, urgency, a 4,100 Rand entry point, and relentless follow-up calls.
Paul O'Sullivan has spoken with us at length about this in the past, and we've got an in-depth interview on how this is a classic modus operandi of transnational crime syndicates. So once you input your details, within minutes, you get a call from a very well-trained, highly persuasive scammer operating out of a boiler room. Call them boiler rooms because they have lots of people in there, and that's all they do all day. Those who deposit the 4,100 Rand in good faith, and it's gone forever. And worse, after that 4,100 Rand is gone, they will relentlessly hound you forever.
Then came the latest twist.
So at BizNews, we expose the truth. We serve our readers. We warn our community. We shine a light into the dark corners of the financial world in particular, and the cockroaches inevitably scurry. Last night, my colleague Kerry Lanaghan received an email marked urgent. Attached was a formal letter of demand from a law firm in Turret Avenue, Rosebank, Johannesburg, called FM Inc. Attorneys. It was signed by FM himself, I guess, Mr. Faisal Mohammed. The letter refers to our article from Friday. It notes that we attach a 15-minute interview with an quote-unquote unknown gentleman who detailed his experience with FXSI. Then the legal gymnastics begin. Mr. Mohammed writes, quote, as per our client's instruction, the person who claims to have lost money due to an alleged scam is not their client, unquote. He continues, quote, This catastrophic negligence by BizNews, and in particular Kerry Lanaghan, renders the entire interview and version of events void and unlawful. This gentleman has clearly impersonated another individual as if he was in fact the person who had this alleged experience, unquote. So let's just pause and unpack the breathtaking absurdity of FM, as he calls himself or calls his firm, his statement. So a syndicate operates a fraudulent website. They use a highly illegal, fabricated deepfake video of a journalist and the president to steal money from pensioners. We interview a victim, disguising their voice to protect them from further harassment from these exact criminals. And the lawyers for the syndicate accuse us of catastrophic negligence because we didn't hand over the victim's true identity to the people who robbed them. The letter goes on to accuse Kerry Lanaghan of failing to do, quote, vital due diligence in verifying who the person being interviewed was, unquote, claiming this has caused FXSI serious reputational and financial harm. And then comes the ultimatum, paragraph 8, and I quote, we, therefore, on behalf of our client, demand that the article and the interview be removed within 24 hours from the timestamp on the email which this letter is attached to, unquote.
The demand was clear. Take the story down. But the response from BizNews was even clearer.
So allow me to deliver our formal response to FXSI, to FM Inc. attorneys, and to anyone else running these offshore unregulated boiler rooms. No. We will not remove the article. We will not take down the podcast. We will not be bullied, intimidated, or silenced by legal threats built on a foundation of absolute nonsense. Kerry Lanaghan is an exceptional journalist. She performed exactly the due diligence required by speaking directly to the victim, reviewing the timeline of events, and protecting her source. The assertion that our anonymous victim was impersonating someone else is a desperate, laughable attempt to deflect from the fact that FXSI's business model relies on deceit. Let me be crystal clear. The harm to FXSI's reputation was not caused by Kerry Lanaghan. It was caused by FXSI using my stolen identity to peddle a scam. And to the BizNews tribe, this is why we do what we do. The internet is becoming an increasingly treacherous place. The technology used to create that fake video of me on Carte Blanche will only get cheaper, faster, and more convincing. As our anonymous guest warned at the end of their interview, you can no longer blindly believe what you see online. If you see an advert promising guaranteed outsized returns, whether my face is on it, Elon Musk's face is on it, Johan Rupert's face is on it, run the other way. If an account manager from Zurich or London phones you relentlessly demanding deposits into foreign accounts, put the phone down. And if you ever ask to pay money to withdraw your own money, you are being scammed.